It all began before time itself, when the universe was nothing but endless darkness and silence. The Greeks called it chaos, the void from which everything came and to which everything would someday return. From this emptiness came the first beings. Gaia, the earth, rose from the darkness solid and steady. Tartarus, the deep abyss, formed below her. Eros, the force of creation and love, appeared to bind the world together. From Gaia came URANUS, the sky, and together they gave birth to the first generation of gods, the Titans. But paradise did not last. Uranus feared his children. The Titans were powerful, vast, and immortal. Fearing they would one day overthrow him, he imprisoned them deep within Gaia's own body. In pain and fury, Gaia begged her children to help her take revenge. Only one answered, her youngest and cleverest son, CRONUS. Gaia gave CRONUS a great sickle made of stone, and one night when the sky came down to lie upon the earth, CRONUS struck. He wounded his father and took his throne, declaring himself ruler of the cosmos. From the blood of Uranus fell the Furies, spirits of vengeance, and from the sea foam that rose where his body fell came Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Even in destruction, new life was born. CRONUS became king, and his sister Rhea became his queen. Together they ruled over what was called the Golden Age, a time when the earth gave freely and men lived without toil or sorrow. But CRONUS, like his father, was haunted by prophecy. The oracle warned him that one of his children would rise against him, just as he had done to Uranus. Terrified, he swallowed each child the moment it was born. Rhea begged him to stop, but he refused. He devoured Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. The cries of her children echoed in her heart, and when her sixth child was born, she made a plan. She wrapped a stone in cloth, gave it to CRONUS, and watched him swallow it whole. The real child was hidden away on the island of Crete, raised in secret by nymphs and guarded by warriors who drowned out his cries with the clash of their shields. That child's name was ZEUS. Years passed. ZEUS grew strong, clever, and determined. Guided by his grandmother Gaia, he returned to face his father. Disguised as a cupbearer, ZEUS served CRONUS a potion that forced him to vomit up the children he had swallowed, fully grown and furious. United at last, the brothers and sisters declared war on the Titans. The battle lasted 10 years. The skies burned with lightning, mountains split open, and the seas boiled. The younger gods, now called the Olympians, fought the Titans in a cosmic war known as the TITANOMACHY. Allies joined on both sides. The Olympians freed the one-eyed Cyclopes, who forged Zeus's thunderbolts, Poseidon's trident, and Hades's helmet of invisibility. Finally, with a roar that shook the heavens, Zeus hurled his lightning and defeated the Titans. The mighty CRONUS was chained in Tartarus with his brothers, guarded by monstrous giants called the Hecatoncheires, the 100-handed ones. Zeus divided the world among his brothers. He took the skies, Poseidon claimed the seas, and Hades took the underworld. The earth was left for all to share. From their new home on Mount Olympus, the gods ruled over mortals and immortals alike. Zeus was king, lord of thunder and law. His power was absolute, but his will was not always wise. He was known for his temper, his charm, and his countless affairs. His queen, Hera, goddess of marriage, was both devoted and vengeful. Her jealousy shaped many myths, as she struck down Zeus's lovers and their children, such as Hercules. Their siblings ruled beside them. Poseidon, god of the sea, wielded his trident to summon storms and earthquakes, both a protector and destroyer. Hades, god of the underworld, ruled over the dead with fairness and sorrow. Though feared, he was not evil. He maintained balance between life and death. Demeter, goddess of the harvest, gave food to humankind. When her daughter Persephone was stolen by Hades to be his queen, Demeter's grief caused winter itself. Only when Persephone returned each spring did the world bloom again. Hestia, goddess of the hearth, kept the sacred flame alive, the symbol of home and peace. The next generation of gods brought new domains. Athena, born fully armed from Zeus's head, was goddess of wisdom, strategy, and war. Apollo, god of the sun, music, and prophecy, carried truth and light across the skies, while his twin sister Artemis, goddess of the moon and the hunt, roamed the wild forests. Ares, god of war, represented the brutal side of battle, bloodlust and fury. Aphrodite, goddess of love, beauty, and desire, could drive gods and men alike to madness. Hermes, the messenger, moved between worlds, a trickster, thief, and guide for souls. Hephaestus, the smith god, forged weapons and armor for Olympus in the fires of his forge, creating masterpieces of divine power. Dionysus, god of wine and ecstasy, brought joy and madness in equal measure. The gods of Olympus ruled in grandeur, but they were far from perfect. They loved, they lied, they betrayed, and they fought among themselves. Zeus's infidelity enraged Hera again and again. Poseidon often challenged his brother's authority. Hades withdrew from their company, ruling in silence beneath the earth. Athena and Ares clashed endlessly, wisdom versus violence. Their rivalry spilled into the mortal world. Wars, plagues, and storms were often reflections of divine quarrels. When Zeus was angry, lightning burned the earth. When Poseidon felt insulted, ships vanished beneath the waves. When Demeter mourned, the fields turned barren. Even the gods feared prophecy. They knew that no power lasted forever. After the TITANOMACHY came whispers of another war, the GIGANTOMACHY, when the earth, Gaia herself, would give birth to a new race of giants to avenge the Titans. When the giants rose, the heavens trembled again. Some were as tall as mountains, armed with spears made from trees and boulders. Zeus led the gods, but victory required the help of a mortal, Hercules, Zeus's half-human son. Together they destroyed the giants and Olympus stood firm. But the warning remained, even gods could fall. The Olympians became victims of their own pride. Zeus's children challenged him, Athena for wisdom, Apollo for justice, Dionysus for freedom. Mortal heroes questioned their power. The world changed. As ages passed, mortals began to think differently. The age of reason replaced the age of myth. Philosophers in Athens said the gods were no longer rulers but symbols, ideas of human strength and weakness. The temples grew quiet, sacrifices stopped, and the fires of Olympus began to fade. The Romans later adopted the gods, giving them new names. Zeus became Jupiter, Hera became Juno, Poseidon became Neptune, and Aphrodite became Venus. For a time they lived again under a new empire, worshipped by soldiers and emperors. But when new faiths rose, when people turned to one god instead of many, the old gods slipped into legend. Some myths say they did not die. They simply left. Athena vanished into the winds. Poseidon returned to the depths. Hermes disappeared into the horizon, and Zeus himself transformed into a great eagle and flew away, leaving Mount Olympus silent and cold. Others say the gods still walk among us, disguised as mortals, living quietly as long as someone remembers their names. Because the Greeks believed one thing above all, that gods never die as long as they are remembered. And so their stories live on, tales of power, pride, love, and betrayal. From the chaos that birthed them to the thunder that shook their world, the Greek gods became mirrors of humanity. Their wars were our wars. Their passions were our desires. Their downfall was our reminder that no empire, no power, and no god lasts forever. They ruled the heavens, the seas, and the underworld. They shaped creation and destroyed it. And though their temples now lie in ruins and their statues crumble in the sun, their legacy remains eternal. This was the story of the Greek gods, their birth from chaos, their reign from Olympus, their battles against titans and giants, their loves and betrayals, and their final fall into myth. From Zeus's thunder to Hades' shadows, from Athena's wisdom to Aphrodite's beauty, they ruled every part of existence, until the world moved on. But still, when thunder echoes across the sky or the sea roars against the rocks, some say it is the gods reminding us that they are never truly gone. They are immortal not in body, but in story, and stories never die.